I'm Kyle,
And I'm Kyle.
and this is K Squared. All right, so we've had another little hiatus, but we're getting back on track. So, Kyle, we have a couple of comments, which is super exciting.
Comments!
So, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up, and I will read the first one. Honestly, I'll probably end up reading all of these this time around.
Because you do so well at that.
I know, man. I've got to practice. So, all right, can you see it?
Yup.
Can you feel the love tonight?
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Do you feel it, Mr. Krabs?
You feel it now? You feel it now?
All right, so this one is from Do You Believe in Spirits? And this is from Gil or Braisden. Okay, so I was so lost, I thought I missed so many episodes. Also, Kyle, if you don't believe in spirits, then man, our trip to New Orleans and our ghost tour. Plus, we also tried to find a murderer after the fact. So, I'm on the edge. I've had like a few experiences where I was like, well, I can't really explain that. That's a little bit weird. But when we went to New Orleans, we definitely did the uh, ghost tour there, and I think it was Madame Leroux, the French woman who like killed a bunch of people in her house.
Hmm.
Have you heard the
Yeah,
story?
I watched American Horror Story once and it was on there.
Yeah, so pretty much it's covering her. But yeah, it was creepy being out there, but I didn't necessarily see anything, Gil. But it was still a really good time. And we did go to try to find a murderer after that because we were told this story about this woman who apparently killed her boyfriend after Hurricane Katrina. And they let her go like scot-free. And she supposedly goes to bars and tries to pick up people. And maybe those people disappear, maybe they don't, allegedly.
And
So,
no luck on your end.
yeah. All right. So next one is from Who is the Best Baddie? So we'll do Travis first. He said, "Sounds good, man," which, I don't have the microphone tonight because I was being lazy. But thanks. I'll start trying to incorporate that a little bit more. And then maybe in the future, we'll have some changes coming that will make everything sound better, but we'll see. So Braisden. Okay, so Roll Tide, Final Four, which we did make it to the Final Four, which is pretty awesome. Also, didn't mean to brag. Also, yes, Bald Kyle, on my trip to Mexico, I had quite a few margaritas turn up. Uh, it was
Cinco
awesome.
de Mayo's coming up, baby. It's time to get some margaritas in.
Cinco de Mayo, there we go. It was awesome. Sorry I didn't invite. Yeah, you should have. Well, I guess not. It's your wife's birthday. I get it. All right. It was my wife's birthday. But we plan on going back to and go with a few friends. Honestly, I think that'd be a really fun trip. You remember that Verbo or VRBO that I sent you?
Oh, down there in the middle of nowhere, Mexico, where we're gonna
Yeah.
get beat up by the cartel.
Maybe, but it looked really cool. So there's that. All right. So Gil said, gonna go a slight different direction, but favorite villain is Mr. Freeze. Like if you look into his backstory, all his wrongdoings were simply to save his wife. Like ignore the Arnold version. How can you ignore the Arnold version? That's just a great one. Have you seen that one, by the way? I think it's Batman and Robin.
I have no idea who you're talking about here.
Oh my good. You don't know who Mr. Freeze is?
No,
Who?
I know who the Joker is. That's the main villain.
Oh, that's awful. Aren't Mr. Freeze is awesome, but Mr. Freeze is an amazing character as a baddie. The comic version is awesome. Mr. Freeze is awesome. There's also a cartoon movie with him in it, but Kyle, you need to go look up Mr. Freeze in Batman and Robin because it is hysterical. He literally does like obviously he's got his Austrian accent, and he goes, "You need to chill out," and it's so bad. There's a lot of
Terrible.
it's bad, but it's also to the point where it's like it's so bad that it ends up being good, if that makes sense. So I
I don't
actually
know.
liked it, other than the fact that like their nipples were like highlighted in that movie for some reason. Like on the bat suit, they had nipples. It's like, why are we putting nipples on the bat suit? I don't understand. This is so weird. So go
Did
back
I
and watch
make
that
you
one.
Randy?
Yeah. Did I make you Randy? So yeah, go back and watch that one. And then last one, I think they are more natural bits. They are so ridiculous. Plus, you can't plan on when something happens. I mean, maybe some bias for a bit, but I think it's made up on the spot. That's going back to the commentators during basketball.
Oh,
I don't know, man. I feel like they have to practice it. Because like, what if you go in there and you say something extremely stupid? But I don't know. Maybe, who knows? It's a bold move, Cotton. You don't know what that's from either?
no.
Kyle, you were so uncultured. All right, that is Dodgeball, and you need to go watch that movie as well.
I've seen dodgeball before. I just didn't know that one.
Yes, the commentary is like, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. When they're like
The
losing.
only thing I know, and I'm pretty sure the guy's name is Cotton, isn't that off of Pirates of the Caribbean? The guy with the parrot?
I think it's Mr. Gibbs.
No. The
No,
guy with the parrot that doesn't speak.
I don't remember his name. I know exactly who you're talking about, but I don't
His
remember.
name, oh, you don't, you want to put some money on this?
I'm not gonna put any money on it. I don't remember.
Somebody's not confident.
I think, of course not. I think Mr. Gibbs is the person who is like, second in command. That's always
Yeah.
talking to Jack's person, Jack's Sparrow. But I think you're probably right. I think it is Cotton, but somebody in the comments, make sure that's right.
Tell me that I'm right. Just make sure to put that bald Kyle is right, because Kyle is right all the time. All the time, Kyle is right.
Yeah, especially when it's not Bald Kyle.
Let's not get too crazy, because I'm pretty sure he said his name's Cotton, sir, and the parrot speaks.
Yeah, the parrot definitely speaks for him, but I can't remember if it's Cotton or not. But I'm leaning towards you being right. All right, so moving on. Our questions for tonight. I'm gonna let you do the first one, and then I'm gonna do the second one. So what is a show that you used to watch, and started out loving it, but fell off and ended up not liking the show?
Okay, so there's one in particular that comes to mind, and I don't know if we've talked about this before or not, but Game of Thrones,
Okay.
because like everything was great up until the last season when they pretty much were writing the script based because it's based off of the books,
Yes.
but the person hadn't gone that far in the books when they were making the next season, so they're just flying by the seat of their pants.
Let me interrupt you for a second. Before you say anything that maybe gives something away, spoiler alert, if anybody hasn't seen that yet. But anyways, go ahead.
Giving nothing away. It sucks. That's a spoiler alert. It just was very rushed, and it was a lot of story that could have been drawn out and made done well, that they just like rushed it and ruined it. I think it wasn't. It just wasn't as good. Of
So I I would agree with you if I had watched it. Well, you didn't watch it that way either. You binge watched it, right?
course, I did. That's when I was working my GA and I was sitting there in the library and having to like shield my screen from my
Yeah.
boss that was right
Oh
behind.
no.
I was like, oh.
There's some gratuitous nudity. Whoops.
Oh no. Let me turn down my brightness all the way and shut my lid a little bit.
Yeah. So like if I had watched it the way that it was probably meant to be watched, like season by season instead of binge watching it, I think I would have been more upset. But I also like heard a bunch of people tell me that the last season sucked. But after watching it, I was kind of like, it goes along well with the show. I agree that it was rushed and they could have drawn it out a whole lot more, like at least 2 or 3 more seasons. But it ended exactly the way that Game of Thrones was portrayed throughout all the seasons. You're always disappointed. Literally, Ned Stark, spoiler alert, Ned Stark gets killed. The moment things start to look good, Ned Sparks gets killed. And you're just like, all right,
Yeah.
seriously? Things start to look good. Red Wedding, everyone dies.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Exactly. So, I mean, every time you get close, like, and of course, at the very end, you want Jon Snow to be the ruler of everything, and he ends up not being. So it's kind of like, I feel like it just goes along with the theme of the show. Like, every time you want something you really bad, they take it away from you. Because again, you're the moment you develop a relationship with a character, oh, they're dead.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, all right, I kind of expected it. And even though I didn't like the ending, I was like, this is how the show is. Like, you never get exactly what you want. So that was my thing.
I never get what I want anyway, so it don't matter.
I know. All right. So my two, And like, I feel like I'm gonna get some hate from Gil on this one, but I really liked Burn Notice. I don't know if you ever heard of that show. But it's about the spy, and he's a spy and he gets burned. So pretty much they kick him out of like the whole spy ring. And he's trying to survive, and he's like just doing little gigs on the side as a result. I loved like the first two maybe 3 seasons, but it kept going on into like I think 7 or 8 seasons. And just like I don't know, I fell off to the point where I didn't think it was that great. And I feel like they were trying to like force some stuff, and it was like, all right, it was really good at first, but now we're kind of like dragging it out. Um, I did like Bruce Campbell in that series though. He was always really cool, which I don't know if you know who that is. Probably not. The other one was The Walking Dead. I
Oh
loved
yeah.
The Walking Dead when it first came out, but then I noticed that there was a routine. Literally, hey, all the zombies are chasing us. Let's get all these people together. We establish this safe haven, and then the governor comes along, destroys that safe haven. We're spreading out everywhere. Hey, let's get all these people together. We're gonna go establish this community. Oh no, now what's his face? I can't remember who the villain is.
Morgan.
Who?
Morgan?
It's not Morgan. It's the something with an N.
Negan.
Negan. Negan comes along, does the exact same thing. So it's like, all right, we've played the same thing over and over again, and then you just got like they did the spin-off where it started in California, and then now they have like The Last of Us, which is I think I can't
That
remember.
was good. I like that one.
I haven't seen that one because that one's
It's
still
pretty
going.
good. Isn't that a video game too?
It is a video game as well.
Okay.
I've never played the video game, but like my favorite character was Daryl, and then I also liked Rick a little bit too. And then it kind of, I don't know, it just got,
You didn't like Coral.
I didn't like Shane in that one.
Coral.
Carl. But yeah, when it first started, I was like, man, this is really good. And then
Yeah.
it just like, all right, we just kept hitting replay or reset over and over again. All right, so that's that one. Next question is place that you have been that was a letdown, and place that you have been that was that lived up to expectations. So I'll go first on this one, and it can be anything. I went the route of place that was this is my letdown. I went to the Melting Pot, and like for some reason I thought it was gonna be like this super nice restaurant, and it just seemed like a cool idea. You fondue there, and yeah, the food was not good. It was extremely overpriced. Like I went there on like a date or whatever, and I think I spent like almost $200 for 2 people. And I was like, this is the most ridiculous amount of money I've ever spent. And
Mm-hmm.
the date I went on was also not worth it because it's like, she's not that much fun, but hey, it is what it is. You live and learn. But yeah, was not impressed with that at all. Overpriced, food wasn't that great, and just like the atmosphere. It's one of those things where it's like the restaurant was probably at one time really nice, and
But it
then
was run down.
they kind of stopped taking care of it because it's like the booth wasn't all that clean. So I was just like, this is not, they should not be charging this price. Anyways, and then my place that I've been that totally lived up to expectations was when I went to Glacier in Montana. We went hiking one day, and like I knew it was gonna be pretty. There's like, there's ice caps and animals and stuff like that. But there was literally a moment where we were hiking on the first day, and I can't remember the name of the lake that we went to on day one. But hiking starts raining a little bit, and we were like, we're just gonna power through. Like we're gonna get to this lake, and then we'll turn around and come back. It's about 2 miles there, 2 miles back. And fortunately, because of the rain, like there was hardly anybody there. But we got to this lake, and like I cannot express how much this seemed like it was fake. It seemed like it was like coming out of a movie, like the idealistic movie. But we came out of the forest, and it was still drizzling slightly. But as you come out of the forest, there's a rainbow over this lake that is crystal clear. Like you can see the bottom. I mean, it is like the bluest of blue water. And then all around the lake is the mountains, and the mountains were melting. So there was 4 different waterfalls that you got to look at pouring into this lake. And I was just like, this is like the most beautiful thing I think I have ever seen. And I really was. I was like sitting there going like, I think I could just sit here and just like stare at this and be completely content for the next several hours. And Bill and I put our feet in the water that day too, and it was freezing cold.
It's
But
Montana, so
dude, it was so much fun. We got these like sweet, and I still have them on my desk. Different colored rocks, like you can't see it at all, but this is a red rock. But depending on like the acidic properties of the soil, like either the rocks are blue or the rocks are red. So it's just an amazing experience. I'm really glad that I got to do that. It makes me want to go see other state parks.
that's fair enough. Okay, so I have two that were a letdown for me.
Okay,
One is an experience place. Um, have you ever heard of the Wonderworks before?
I have not.
Okay, so it's like an upside down science place that when I went as a kid, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was like, this place is awesome. And I went back as an adult and I was like, this is such a letdown right here. This is terrible. And so Wonderworks was definitely a letdown. And the other one was Boston, Massachusetts. That place can kick rocks. I never want to go up to the north again. That was miserable. It was not too much fun. It was cold. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, the wind was terrible. I got the flu and about just died up in Boston. If it was not for my roommate, I would not have made it home. I can tell you right now. Oh, that was terrible.
I
I was
love that.
at work the next week. I, it was not worth it.
Yeah, I had a person that I was ran into, and they were telling me about how like they'd moved down here from, um, I don't think it was Boston, but I think it was Chicago, like Illinois. No,
Mm.
no, it wasn't. It was Ohio. My bad. Cleveland, Ohio. And he was like, while you're there, like you don't really mind the cold, like you kind of adapt to it. But the moment you leave and go to a warmer place, it is so much harder to go back to that cold weather.
Oh
And
yeah.
I get it. Like I told him about like, over Johnson City. Obviously we went there this past weekend. But it's like the perfect amount of cold where it's like
Yes.
it's not so cold that you're gonna freeze it. Well, I guess you could freeze to death if you're in the wrong spot, but I don't know. It's just like, it's manageable. Like any colder might be a little too much to like live in. But who knows? I'm crazy, so I might try it.
Yeah, you are. Um, and then the one that lived up to expectations is when I went out to San Diego, California.
Okay.
I like that place a lot. It now granted it was cooler when we went out there because that's right before this was last year, when those winter storms were blowing through California.
Yeah.
So that there was that, but I mean it was very nice. Like it was very different than anything I've experienced on this side of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
So but it was nice though and I liked it. Now would I live there? Absolutely not. But would I go back to visit? Probably so.
So I just got an idea of what I'm gonna name this episode. Would you like to guess?
Just another day in paradise.
No. Batman nipples.
All right. I I was obviously on very different ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I support it. This one's gonna get pulled, but whatever.
Either that or all right, so how about this? We'll leave it up to the comments. I'm gonna name it something. We'll stay away from Batman nipples, but if enough people, which that's gonna be like Gil,
Gil and Travis, that's about it.
or maybe Travis, yeah. But if enough people are like, yeah, you should name it Batman nipples, I'll change it. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm Batman and put that on there.
I'm Batman.
Exactly.
Who are you? I am.
Who are you?
That's what made me think of that. Lord have
The
mercy.
best part is he was like yelling at a child. Who are you? I am.
I. That's funny.
All right, man. Well, we'll end it there unless you got something else to do or something else to say. Any other comments?
Nope, no comments, thoughts, or concerns on my end. We do
Cool.
appreciate your comments, thoughts, and concerns, though, so please keep them coming our way.
These comments
Yes, we hope that you all are still enjoying our episodes And we hope that, if you want to be a guest, even if you're a repeat guest, just let us know because we'd like to have some other people on. But if there's anything you'd like for us to talk about, just leave it down in the comments. And also don't forget to subscribe and like our page.
All right. See y'all later.